Have you ever wondered what makes some people irresistibly magnetic? What if I told you there's a single skill that could unlock every door and make people do anything you want? Imagine having the key to connecting with anyone, anytime, anywhere. Sounds intriguing, right? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what it takes to gain this power. And it's simpler than you might think. Let's talk about something incredibly important: the key to success. Sure, hard work and knowledge are vital, but there's one skill that stands out above all others. CEOs, world leaders, and the most successful people across all fields have something in common: exceptional social skills. Why is this so powerful? Well, let's break it down. A study I read not long ago revealed that communication skills contribute to 85% of your success in life. Whether you're running a company, building relationships, or even starting a YouTube channel, your ability to connect with others is what will make or break your journey. In fact, social skills are often more important than technical knowledge, as they create the foundation for trust and influence. Take a moment to think about it. Have you ever encountered someone who just seemed to have an effortless way of engaging with others? It's not magic. They've simply mastered social skills. And this video is going to show you exactly how to do the same. This isn't just another tutorial. This is your ultimate guide to becoming socially unstoppable. You'll learn how to speak, listen, and connect with people in ways that make them feel understood, valued, and ready to work with you. Social skills can be the game changer you need to unlock the success you've been striving for. So, what are you waiting for? Dive in, take notes, and start applying what you learn right away. If you found this video helpful, like it, share it with friends, and comment below. I want to hear from you. What's your biggest struggle when it comes to social interactions? Let's get the conversation started. Have you ever wondered what truly drives human behavior? What if I told you there's a deep, almost primal instinct embedded in all of us, shaping the way we interact with the world? This instinct is the secret foundation behind all social skills, and understanding it could be the key to winning over anyone you meet. Intrigued? Let me explain. Every human being has an innate hunger, a hunger for value. We all crave to feel significant, to know that we matter in the world around us. And when you learn how to feed this hunger in the right way, you can unlock doors to anyone's heart and mind. Imagine this. If you can fulfill this hunger for value in someone, they will not only like you, but they will do anything you ask. Think about it for a moment. What if you had that kind of influence? What if you could have people completely engage with you, motivated to follow your lead, and eager to please you? That's the power of social skills when you know how to feed this hunger. Let me share a personal story. A long time ago, when I was a university student and an immigrant needing money, I worked as a math tutor for high school students. One student, in particular, was one of the most challenging individuals I had ever met. He struggled immensely, and no matter how many times I explained something, it just wouldn't click. But one day, I said something that changed everything. You may be slow to understand, but you have one thing going for you. You are hardworking. Even though you're struggling now, your dedication will eventually make you succeed. Now, let me tell you what happened next. By the end of the year, this student transformed. He went from being one of the worst students to one of the best I had ever taught. I'm not sure exactly how, but I am sure of one thing. He wanted to prove to me that he could live up to my praise. He wanted to show me he deserved the value I had given him. And it worked. That single sentence fed his hunger for value, and he worked tirelessly to impress me. What's the takeaway here? When you understand how to feed someone's hunger for value, you can influence them in ways you might never have imagined. This is the power of social skills, and it's exactly what I'm going to teach you today. Now, you may be thinking, does this mean I should just give value to anyone I meet? Not exactly. It's not about randomly showering everyone with praise. There's a correct way to give people value, and that's what I'm going to explain in this video. Stay tuned, because once you learn how to properly feed this instinct, you'll become the most loved, admired, and influential person in your social circle. Let me explain why this works. The first golden rule I want you to remember for the rest of your life is this: if you want to leave an impression, make the other person feel like they are the remarkable one. When you shift the focus away from yourself and onto them. They naturally feel valued and important. And when people feel valued, they are far more likely to be drawn to you, to trust you, and to do things for you. This simple shift can change the way you connect with people on a deep level. So, how do you make someone feel like they've left an impression on you? It's all about having focused conversations. This means you make the conversation revolve around them. Here's how you can do it. Let them talk about themselves, and you build on what they say. Take a general topic and redirect it towards them. Let's dive into the first technique. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone, and they say, "Yesterday, I went on a date with a girl, and it turned out she was totally clueless about life." In this case, they are placing the focus on themselves, sharing their personal experience. Now, let's look at how you can respond in two ways. If you reply with something like, "I once met a dumb girl too," or "I can't stand girls like that," you've just shifted the conversation back to you. You've taken the spotlight off them and made it about your own experiences. But if you respond by saying, "Oh, and what did you do about it?" or "How did the date go?" you keep the focus on them. You continue the conversation by showing genuine interest in their experience. This makes them feel like they are the center of attention. And as a result, they feel like they've had an impact on you. The key here is to listen carefully. When they talk, truly listen. In my previous videos, I've touched on how important active listening is. But here, it's even more crucial. The longer you keep them at the center of the conversation, the more they will feel appreciated and valued. So remember this. When you make someone feel like they're the most interesting person in the room, you become unforgettable in their eyes. If you want to leave an impression, make them feel impressive. Ever felt stuck in a boring conversation? You know the kind? The one about the weather that goes absolutely nowhere. "It's a little chilly today." "Yeah, it's been raining a lot lately." Sound familiar? But here's the secret. You can turn any mundane conversation into something meaningful and engaging. And it's all about shifting the focus to the other person. For instance, instead of just talking about the weather, ask something like, "Do you prefer rain or sunshine? Summer or winter?" Instantly, you've moved the conversation from generic small talk to a personal exchange. You've engaged them, and they're now involved in a conversation about their preferences, their experiences, and their personality. It's a game changer. Why does this work? When you redirect the focus of the conversation to the other person, you give them value. People love talking about themselves, and you'll notice how they light up when given the chance to share their thoughts. By doing this, you satisfy their need to feel heard and validated. And here's the magic. You influence them, and they influence you. It's a mutual exchange that builds rapport and connection. When people feel that they're getting your attention, they start to admire you. That's when the power dynamics shift, and you've already won them over. But here's an even more important principle to remember. This isn't just about making a good impression. It's about not trying to prove anything. Imagine you're speaking to someone, and they interrupt you. How should you handle this? Here's a surprising answer. Don't fight it. If they interrupt, let them. If they change the subject, follow them. Don't cling to the old topic. Many people make the mistake of trying to get back to their point, insisting on winning the conversation. But the truth is, the more you try to assert yourself, the more you come across as desperate. When you let go of the need to prove your point, you're showing confidence and strength. It's a quiet power that people notice. Here's an example. Let's say someone cuts you off while you're speaking. Instead of getting frustrated, you let them finish. In that moment, you're signaling that you don't need to prove anything to them. You're not struggling for validation. You're just calmly letting them speak. And guess what? This subtly boosts your status in their eyes because the person who doesn't need to prove anything is the person who holds the real power. But what if they keep interrupting? That's when you need to step up. Don't tolerate constant interruptions. If they repeatedly cut you off, say calmly, "Why don't you let me finish what I'm saying?" It's direct, it's clear, and it shows that you won't be disrespected. Assertiveness like this earns respect, and people will start to realize you're not someone who will tolerate being ignored. Now, for the guys reading this, there's a golden rule for you. As a man, you're expected to speak clearly and directly. Unfortunately, many young men fear coming across as rude and end up speaking in an indirect, wishy-washy way. That's a mistake. Being clear and assertive is a strength, not a weakness. Society expects men to speak up and express their thoughts without hesitation. So, if someone interrupts you and you've already asked them to let you speak, don't keep engaging with them if they don't listen. Walk away. In the conversation, your time and energy are valuable, and there's no need to keep interacting with someone who doesn't respect you. In summary, shift the conversation to the other person. Ask about their preferences and opinions. Don't fight interruptions. Let the person express themselves. Assert yourself when necessary, but do it calmly and directly. As a man, be clear, confident, and direct in all your communications. So, the next time you're in a conversation, try these techniques and watch how people's perception of you starts to change. You'll not only become a better conversationalist, but also a person who is respected and admired. Ever been in a conversation where someone keeps interrupting you? You're speaking, and they jump in every few seconds. It's frustrating, right? But here's an interesting twist. What if you ignore the interruption and let them finish their point? You might be surprised at how powerful this move can be. Here's why. By letting them speak, you show them that you're not trying to prove anything. When people feel that you're not trying to one-up them or prove your point, they actually feel the need to prove themselves to you. In other words, your value increases in their eyes. It might seem counterintuitive, but it's a powerful way to build rapport and gain respect. But that's not all. There's another crucial step to strengthening your connections with others. And it's all about recognizing them as a person, not just as a title or job. What does that really mean? It means valuing someone for who they are, not for what they do, what they own, or what their job title is. People often feel like they are defined by their career, achievements, or status. But the truth is, the most meaningful connections happen when you accept someone for their true self, not just their accomplishments. Think about this. When you meet someone new, do you immediately ask, "What do you do for a living? Where did you go to school? How much do you earn?" These types of questions often make the other person feel like they're just a checklist of traits. Instead, ask things like, "What's been the highlight of your week?" Or "What are you passionate about?" It's a subtle shift that makes a huge difference in how people feel about you. But here's where it gets really important. Don't start giving unsolicited advice. This is a major social mistake. For example, imagine you're talking to someone and they mention they smoke. Instead of jumping in with, "You should quit smoking," try simply being present with them. Offering unsolicited advice like that can make the person feel judged, which can build walls instead of rapport. Now, think about this. Do you honestly believe that the person doesn't already know they need to make a change? Of course they do. The real question is, are they ready to hear your advice? The answer is likely no, unless they specifically ask for it. If they don't, your words can come off as preachy, and no one wants to feel like they're being lectured. Golden rule number 2, never put yourself above others. This is a huge one. Don't position yourself as superior or more knowledgeable than the other person. Let's say you're in a conversation and someone says, "The moon is 150.000 miles away from Earth." It's tempting to correct them, right? Maybe you want to show how smart you are. But why bother? First of all, what do you gain from correcting such a trivial detail? It doesn't add anything meaningful to the conversation, and it certainly doesn't make the other person feel respected. If it's not crucial to the discussion, don't correct them. This is something I've had to learn myself. I used to have a strong urge to correct people every time I heard something inaccurate. But over time, I realized that correcting others constantly can damage relationships and make you seem overbearing. People don't want to feel like their every word is under scrutiny. The takeaway: let people talk. When someone interrupts you, let them finish. This shows you don't need to prove anything, which automatically raises your value. Recognize them for who they are, not just their job or title. Ask meaningful, personal questions that go beyond their career or possessions. Avoid unsolicited advice. Don't give advice unless they ask for it. Let them feel heard and accepted as they are. Never position yourself above others. Don't correct trivial mistakes in conversations. It's more important to connect than to prove you're right. Remember, true connections happen when we let go of the need to prove ourselves and start recognizing the value in others. If you want to build deeper, more meaningful relationships, start applying these simple steps today. What do you think? Have you ever made the mistake of offering advice when it wasn't needed? Or maybe you've had someone correct you when it didn't matter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, and tag a friend who could use these tips to improve their social interactions. How can you get someone to genuinely strive for your admiration? It's not as hard as you might think. It all comes down to one powerful principle: giving others the opportunity to earn your respect. But how exactly do you do that? The first step is asking for their opinion. We all love to express our own thoughts and feelings. But here's the catch: most people aren't truly listening. They're more interested in sharing their own ideas, often without considering what others think. So, to truly connect with someone and get them to want to impress you, learn the art of listening. If you're having a conversation or discussing a topic, instead of just talking about your views, ask the other person, "What do you think about this?" Or, "How do you feel about this?" Give them the floor to share their thoughts and ideas. You might be surprised at how much this simple gesture can elevate the conversation and make the other person feel valued. When people feel heard, they naturally want to earn your admiration because they know you respect their opinions. Another way to encourage someone to prove themselves is by asking for their suggestions. Whether it's on a project, an idea, or just day-to-day life, people love giving advice. And when they give it, they feel a sense of purpose and importance. Instead of rejecting their input, listen to them. For instance, imagine you have a YouTube channel. Someone comes up to you and says, "I think you should make a video on XYZ topic." Rather than dismissing them outright, give them the respect they deserve. Even if the suggestion doesn't seem perfect or isn't aligned with your vision, simply respond with, "That's an interesting idea. I'll think about it." This response acknowledges their input without shutting them down. Now, here's a crucial point to remember. Never treat anyone as if they don't understand anything or as if you're superior to them. This applies regardless of their age, education, or background. Don't look down on people. You never know what wisdom they might have. And even if they don't have the same knowledge as you, treat them as equals. Everyone has something valuable to offer, whether it's a new perspective, fresh ideas, or unique insights. So, if someone, whether a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger, offers you advice, listen attentively. Don't brush them off, and definitely don't make them feel inferior. In fact, when you listen and engage with their suggestions, you're giving them the opportunity to feel important and valued. This, in turn, builds mutual respect and admiration. For example, let's say you're working on a creative project, and someone gives you feedback or a suggestion. Instead of instantly dismissing it, you could say, "That's an interesting perspective. Let me think about it more." This approach shows that you respect their input, even if you ultimately decide not to take their advice. It's a simple yet effective way to maintain positive connections without closing off potential opportunities for growth. Key takeaways: ask for their opinion. People love to share their thoughts. And when you listen, you make them feel valued. Invite suggestions. When someone offers advice, don't dismiss them. Instead, engage with their ideas and give them a chance to express themselves. Never look down on anyone, whether they're younger, less educated, or have different experiences. Treat everyone with respect. You never know what insights they may have. Don't shut down ideas. Even if you don't agree, acknowledge their input with a simple, "I'll think about it." This shows you value their thoughts. By following these steps, you'll create an environment where others feel motivated to earn your admiration rather than just seek it. And in return, they'll respect you more for the simple fact that you gave them the chance to prove their worth. Now, let me hear from you. Have you ever had someone give you advice that turned out to be surprisingly useful? Or maybe you've been in a situation where you had to listen more and talk less. Well, it's time to challenge that advice. I'm about to drop a truth bomb. The advice to be yourself is one of the most misguided, harmful pieces of advice ever given. And I know many of you will be thinking, but isn't that what we're supposed to do? Let me explain why this doesn't hold up. Imagine this scenario: someone who smokes and desperately wants to quit. Would you tell them, "Hey, don't worry about quitting. Just stay true to yourself"? Smoke if it feels right? Sounds crazy, right? Or picture someone who's battling obesity, hitting the gym for the first time to transform their body. Would you say, forget working out, just stay true to yourself? Of course not. Here's the reality. Life is full of growth, change, and improvement. Your social skills are no different. Being yourself is not the key to success in social situations. Instead, communication is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice, learning, and yes, sometimes stepping outside of what feels comfortable. Let's get real. Improving your social abilities might mean trying new things, stepping out of your comfort zone, and pushing past those old habits that aren't serving you anymore. It's about evolving into the best version of yourself, not staying stuck in the same place just because being yourself is what you're comfortable with. But this is just the beginning. This conversation on social skills doesn't end here. What I've shared today is just a glimpse of what's to come. Trust me, I've got so much more to dive into in the upcoming episodes. And this is just the start of a powerful series. So, here's my challenge to you. If you're ready to take your social game to the next level, let me know in the comments. If this video hits 10,000 likes, I'll continue this series and dive even deeper into mastering social skills. Don't let this opportunity pass by. Like, share, and comment below to let me know you're in. See you in the next video.